The role of a board of directors is very similar no matter the company or organization it serves. The board's job in a large public company is the most examined, but in closely held ventures, family business, ESOPs, private companies, it still has some universal duties. It always serves as a fiduciary for the owners, both the majority and minority holders. It monitors company controls, finances, legal safeguards, because a corporate charter is granted by government in exchange for meeting these standards, and the board's expected to protect the long-term value of the enterprise itself. This is all business school basic stuff, but it fits in with what we've been seeing lately at Facebook. The company is undergoing a storm of scandal now for things like sharing private data on 76 million users with political firm Cambridge Analytica. And this was preceded by reports that Russian and other foreign interests use Facebook as a pipeline for fake news, tilting its political news, harvesting personal data, cyberbullying issues, hate speech quote-unquote issues. All these headaches brought a real-world market hit, with Facebook's stock price dropping $80 billion by late March. This brings me back to the role of corporate boards. Facebook is a great example of how hugely successful young tech firms can get the essentials of corporate governance both very right and very wrong, often both at the same time. The Facebook board could not be more impressive. You have people like company COO Sheryl Sandberg, Mark Andreessen, Ken Chenault, Reed Hastings, Peter Thiel. These are just a few of the names. And no doubt boardsmanship at Facebook is first rate when it comes to things like meetings, committees, independence, information. But Facebook has taken hits from activists for its basic governance structure. It has a dual-class stock setup that puts power in the hands of founder Mark Zuckerberg to a degree that's outsized even for dot-com companies. Zuckerberg is also Facebook's board chair and CEO. The unique history of corporate boards means that they tend to gather very savvy people together and then make them collectively dumb. Most often I see this happen through board meetings and administrative tools that are fumbled. But board leadership's a real factor as well. If someone has solid veto power through his stock structure, as well as both the CEO and chair positions, the company is going to become a reflection of both this person's strengths and weaknesses. And at the board level, there will be little in place to check those weaknesses. I'm Ralph Ward from the Boardroom for April.